Whoa! Happy Sunday, everybody. Highway 54 here. Are we live? Are we live?
We are live.
Yep, we're live.
We are live. Stand by, guys.
The ongoing series about the life of the people touched by the love of the Pacific. Here are their stories. This is Highway 54.
You know, how do you say this? You know, Memorial, Happy Memorial. You don't want to say Happy Memorial.
No.
You say Memorial Day. What would the greeting be?
In memory, and was it?
Yeah, because it's about veterans that passed. So it's the best thing is saying I don't know exactly how I don't know how you would put it. I mean, there's nothing happy about it. So
Yeah. So when I used to get those Happy Memorial, I don't get them anymore. People used to say Happy Memorial Day, like, huh?
What's happy about it?
To you just because you're in the military. No, it's for people that passed while they're in the military or veterans that passed afterwards.
Exactly.
So it's not for the living at all. So
yeah, Memorial Day weekend is those veterans who had passed, whether during a conflict or as active duty or as a veteran. For those. So yeah, Memorial Day weekend, guys. It's I guess the first of pre-COVID. You know, even though we're kind of still in the middle of COVID. As we know right now with our friends and families and coworkers, and even stars are getting COVID. Most of them mild because I would say a good portion of the country and the nation is either had both shots boosted or whatever, right? So you're not seeing a lot of hospitalizations of people getting COVID, but just getting mildly sick. So
right,
could use that. And I heard you guys just got your second booster.
Yeah, so I was eligible for that for being 50. So I went on and did that, and plus at the same time, I was exposed to someone else at the workplace that turned up positive, and so just taking more precautions myself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The antibodies with the first, I took the first booster. I think we all did, and then the second booster, I'm waiting. As soon as they say I'm available, it's available for me. I'm going to take it. But yeah, it just boosts up your antibodies and gives you a lot more protection. But yeah, I'm waiting for that. And how are you guys feeling since it's yesterday you took it?
Yesterday. I'm tired. I'm really tired. My arm's sore and I'm tired. But the last booster I did have like some really bad soreness from for like a couple of days.
Yeah.
But it was just in that local area.
Yeah.
Where my lymph nodes had swelled up, but
yeah,
this one about the same. I'm just a little tired. That's all. But I'm sure it'll pass like today.
Yeah. 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 I mean, I grew up and in the military with taking all kinds of vaccines, so our family's not is used to it. But I hardly get sick. I can't remember when I ever had an actual dead drop flu, and so I racked up a lot of sick leave as a military and civilian. So, yeah, I usually don't get sick, but when I got the first booster, I'm like you. I felt kind of tired, kind of body ache. It only lasts for about a day, maybe a day and a half. And so I'm assuming the booster too will probably be the same for me. Where actually it's a good thing that you're actually feeling some kind of effects.
Right.
Body aches, kind of like you're sick almost. Maybe a fever. A fever.
Okay,
Yeah, he old. I'm like 2 years away. Eric is 50 this year, so we right, guys. We don't feel 50, even though we'll say that we're that close. I'm 48. I just turned 48, so I got 2 more years, and so.
If I drop some more weight, which I think I'm going to do, like I'm going to put a challenge out on on podcasts soon.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to lose some weight. I need to lose some weight in my old age and make things better and get in a healthy, weight range. But yeah, I mean, I don't feel like some of my friends look.
Oh shit! Hold on.
Emotional, damn it!
I just saying. I be seeing some people sometimes talking about, like,
damn, you look 50, 60 years old.
Some of them look even older than that.
Yeah.
I mean, a big part of that, guys, is genetics. Part of it is also stress living. Health, I tend to feel like people who are less stressed look a lot younger. That's how I feel.
He keeps the stress off of me.
Yeah.
I care about a lot, but I don't worry about nothing.
I mean, like I think for us, we understand there's a problem. Oh fuck, we fucked up or whatever, but then it just rolls off. You don't carry that for very long. It doesn't linger. That's kind of like me. I don't like to linger in that disappointment or linger in that challenge. Yeah. So
when you start to dwell and you don't have like the coping skills to get rid of just nonsense, because some things you can't worry about, what you can't change.
Exactly.
You just have to like take the high road a lot of times and go with it.
Yeah, I think with me, if you guys know me more, even more, I tend to make a joke or light of the issue. Doesn't mean I don't care. Doesn't mean I don't care. Doesn't mean like I just don't want to be like heavy down by whatever happening. So I'll cry. And like I said, I'm a crier, and I will cry in the moment. But after a few, I'll try to lighten the moment. But anyways, I'm glad you guys are okay. I'm waiting to get my booster. Hopefully everybody else is getting their boosters too. Protection. In my school, we got 4 or 5 in 1 week positive pop. But nobody went to the hospital or anything, or they're just at home, just quarantining. So good. So guess what, guys? Memorial Day weekend. Of course, we talked about that. Not happy at all. It's a somber, empathetic, and just remembrance. But it's one of the first 4-day weekend where movies are. People are allowed to go watch movies now. And guess what? For a little over 2.5 hours, maybe 2 hours and 20 minutes, I was 12 years old. I went back to 1986 Rhodey Point movie theater in Guam on Naval Station. I watched the first Top Gun, and I'm telling you, for 2 hours and plus, I felt like I was 12 years old. I used to be a hobbyist of watching movies all the time. And then, of course, VHS came out. So I love to watch movies. And Top Gun is one of those movies that encapsulate all the 90s cliches and all the 90s soundtracks. I mean, I don't know, I have the movie soundtrack of Top Gun here. I got my popcorn. I even saved my popcorn bin, and then of course my cup. I'm gonna tell you now, in my opinion, it was the best movie sequel I've ever seen. It had everything. A nod to the Top Gun movie, characters coming back, honor, anger, crying.
Tom Cruise was in it.
Tom Cruise was in it. Val Kilmer is in it. You know, not a spoiler or anything, but and then there's other few characters. So I suggest, guys, watch the first movie again just to kind of refresh your memory. And there's a lot of Easter eggs within the movie, but with the new characters, the new Top Gun pilots, man, it just brings back the 80s of that moment, you know, without being too like cheesy or cliche. It was that good. It was that good. And of course, the digital, the effects, the fighting scenes in the air, the Navy representing. I mean, this is the best recruiting video for the Navy and air pilots. Because remember watching Top Gun, I wanted to be a Top Gun pilot. Until I found out, there's a lot of math, and I suck in math.
Emotional. I ain't counting nothing.
Right.
Yeah. So this is the biggest movie opener for Tom Cruise. One of his biggest movies before this was War of the Worlds. Opening day was 69 million. The first day, Top Gun Maverick pushed over $100 million in the United States.
Isn't he about to come out with another Mission Impossible?
Yes.
Tired of that.
Yeah. Well, another. I mean, you know, like it's like Fast and Furious 9, 10, 15, 20.
Okay.
Yeah, just
Halloween 20, you know. But yeah, the biggest Memorial Day rake-in, he has the top movie. Worldwide, over $250 million and within the past 4 days. So great movie, guys. Go watch it. Top Gun. It was a great movie.
I have to check it out.
Definitely.
Yeah, but watch the movie Netflix. It's on there right now. You can watch it.
Yeah, we saw it on there earlier.
Yeah. So lots of Easter eggs in there, and kudos to the Navy. I know Navy San Diego Naval Station, all over NTC. Not NTC. I'm sorry, North Island. I mean, lots of shots of San Diego and representing a lot of the Navy folks out there. So kudos to you guys. Great, but you know, there's some great movies coming out. Wakanda 2.
Wakanda 2.
It's Black Panther. But
Wakanda Forever. Yeah, Wakanda Forever. Okay. Yeah. Thor: Love and Thunder. I saw the previews there. Lightyear, Buzz Lightyear. Black Adam with The Rock.
Too. Yeah.
Interesting with The Rock. And then Shazam, Fury of the Gods coming out. I think there's another Pinocchio coming out.
Pinocchio?
Yeah. They need to stop with these real life Pinocchio movies because it's kind of scary. It's kind of scary, man.
Yeah, I don't have no kids no more like that.
Avatar 2, 30 years, 20 years later, Avatar 2.
Yeah, I saw that was interesting how they're doing the CGI and everything with it. And
man, I mean, it looked real. It looked real back then. How much more now, you know?
Yeah. It looked crazy, man.
Yeah.
It looked real crazy.
I assume we can kind of fairly assume the movies are back now. It's out there to watch safely into movie theaters right now. When I went there late, so they only had maybe a handful of people watching the movie. So
but don't you have to have they're usually reserved seats anyway, right?
Yeah. There's reserved seats. There's some movie theaters will like purposely like if you take two seats, there will not be another person next to you, kind of. But Not San Diego. San Diego.
You pack them in there.
You can pack them in there. All right. All right, guys. So we got some good stuff to talk about and stuff we really don't want to talk about, but I feel like it's appropriate, and it's talking about gun control. We'll talk about that. But right now we have D3 with I've Got Questions. You ready?
Yep.
All right, sir.
Well, I did a little bit of research, and on episode 89 of this podcast that you can actually check out on YouTube, we actually had a question, and the question was about, are we safer now with more people having camera phones and more cameras, closed circuit TV and things of that nature, as more secure now? More people have access to cameras now than they were in the 80s. I know in the 80s, of course, our parents would tell us that we had to be on the porch by the time the street light comes on. But at the same time, there were serial killers out then as well. And people were hitchhiking and things of that nature. And one of the things that we were talking about on episode 89 was yes and no. We're safer now, but a lot of times people would just, instead of helping you, they rather film you and go viral instead of helping you with their camera phones or what have you. So that got me to thinking, in the wake of a lot of different mass shootings and school shootings, and a lot of time the narrative gets pushed that the parent didn't know that their child was mentally in trouble or anything else like that. But the crazy thing about it is, the question that pops up in my head is, where do you as a parent draw the line as far as being intrusive when it comes to your children? Me personally, there wasn't any privacy in my household. Growing up, I had a door that was actually split in half, and you can actually detach the top part of the door, and you open it up and you can see what's going on in the room. That stayed open. The bottom part where the door locked and was there, that stayed closed, but you can still see through the door. So as a parent, where do you draw the line when it comes to not just focusing on being your child's friend and being the disciplinarian when you need to possibly stop your child from doing what they need to do or doing something that they're not supposed to be doing when it comes to possible gun control or anything else? D3, and I got questions.
Wow, that's going to lead into a big conversation towards the end here. But man, we've had this question many times over. Are we better people because we weren't watched all the time and we didn't have a cell phone? That we're always in contact. We weren't always in contact or we weren't always reachable. That makes sense. I'm right now. I'm fortunate. I'm living in the house that we bought in 1980 exactly, and this is my family home. And so the streets that I lived, I'm out here right now. I grew up down the canyon in the park, playing in the streets, and my parents didn't know they didn't know what the hell I was doing. And I was throwing rocks. I was like, had rubber band guns, and I grew up in Korea. I mean, literally, I was doing stuff that I wasn't supposed to be doing, and but my parents barely. I don't know if they knew or if they barely knew, but they never really checked up on me. And now it's to a point where we're able to track phones, our kids' phones or our spouses' phones or whatever, and track where they checked in too. Like, hey, if you have Facebook or Instagram, there's places where you're at the bowling alley. How you're supposed to be at the library. Does it make us a better society because we're always reachable? And now, for example, in the past 20 years, you're like, you're not providing me a work phone, but you're going to call me on my home phone, and you want me to expect me to check my email while I'm off? Now, son, wait for me on Monday, and I'll check my email. If you email me on Friday night, I ain't getting that shit until Monday. Nope. But I know for me and Carla, we work for FSS, so that's not non-existent, but because we're 24 hours. But Um, does it make us better society because we're able to know what we're doing all the time, and we're able to film people
Yeah.
at their worst, or at their best, whatever. I don't know.
It's so crazy though. Floyd said I was in the streets as a child. Listen, I never felt
Never felt fear.
Oh yeah.
Now I'm overprotective of my children. So that makes
Right.
me think, does it go
Right.
towards a mindset by being as young as we were and being out there
Yeah.
and reckless and doing stuff? We had no fear whatsoever. But now
Right.
being a parent, you see the bigger picture in a lot of things, and then now you feel that fear, and it's a fear of bodily harm to your child. So,
Yeah.
which brings back to the first question: where do you
Mm.
draw the line at as far as being a parent and knowing what your child is doing or what the child is not doing to possibly prevent them from doing something or being in a mental state to where they're harming others or themselves?
Well, that's it depends on like the child. Every child is different, but I think that like with the school shooter
Mm-hmm.
and the mom saying that that he had his reasons or something like that. Like, bitch, what? But I think she knew something. You had to know something about your child that was gonna, he was gonna do something, but you probably didn't know what he may do.
Yeah.
Which, like, when like, for instance, if my daughter is upset or something's really going on and I can see a switch in her energy, like when she was in school, I would get her help. You know what I mean? Like, what's going on with her? Like, something's going on and there's a breakdown or something like that.
Mm.
But no, like, some people are scared to put their child out there because they think that, oh, well, if I do this, then they're going to think that this child is crazy or this child is, got issues. Well, he does, clearly. But you can't stay silent about it.
Yeah. It's just like the video that Carla would let me see yesterday about a little boy said he wants to be a murderer. That's what he said he wants. I mean, the dude, he can't be no older than 7 or 8.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Yeah, I like seeing the murder and
yeah.
stuff." So he's completely desensitized.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it came from video games or people that he's around or what, but
he
at the same
wants to
time,
be a murderer. He said he wants to kill everybody except for his family, his teachers, and the reporter that asked him.
Where do you get to that point?
Yeah.
And it's all cute and dandy when they're little. Oh, he just being silly, just being a kid. No, you need to nip all that in the bud. No, there's consequences. And one of the consequences could be somebody killing him. I mean, so
yeah, and the thing about it is, like, if I had, when I look at certain kids and people, like some of my friends say, well, what would you do if such and such did this? And I'd be like, well, it'd be totally different than what I would do with Ariel. Of course, it's a totally different child. So, I mean, it all depends on the child and what they respond to a lot of times. Sometimes they're not going to respond to you knocking their head off. They're just going to pick it up and put it back on and keep fucking with people. So sometimes you have to really go out there and get them help, And sometimes they have to be an institution. They might have to go to a day program. They might have to be, you have to let them go and you have to let them see that this is serious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, we're really segueing into. We might as well talk about it now. The elephant in the room. The last mass shooting. And we talked about it. The big question is, and it's all plays with mental health. How responsible are you as a parent, looking at their posts, stuff that, signs you say, well, didn't you see the signs? Didn't you see, what he was saying? What was he doing? Was he antisocial? Does gun control save lives? I think the science is out there. If you see other countries, and of course, what we're talking about is not black and white. It's not, but there are steps that we can do as a society, especially in America, that we can move towards lessening the impact or lessening the chances of this happening again. Will it 100%? It's not 100%, but you got to do something. We can only say thoughts and prayers forever. You can say thoughts and prayers forever, but what are we doing as a society, as a community, to control? I am an advocate of the amendment, the Second Amendment, and I believe in having the right to have gun control. But I don't believe that everybody should have certain types of weapons, and I believe that there's steps in order to have guns, right? In the
Right.
military, before we start even shooting or having access to weapons or M16 or M9, we have to be trained,
Mm-hmm.
right? Whether that be yearly, quarterly, whatever. And we're not allowed to have our arms with us at home. They are locked up in an armory, and every weapon, every tool that we have, and every bullet is accounted for.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem. It's not accounted for here in the U.S. And the Second Amendment people are saying, they keep saying, take away your guns. We're not talking about taking away your guns. We're talking about not everybody. But it's not like not everybody can drive. Not everybody can go drive all the time. And when you come to a certain age or mental disability, you can't drive.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not allowed to drive. Obviously, you can go get in the car, get the keys, and go drive, but legally, you're not allowed to have a license. You're not supposed to, not be on the road, blah blah blah. So the circumstances. So that's all we're asking for is that accountability for different
Background
weapons,
checks and stuff
right?
like that. Like that one thing they said is illegal in Texas to own over 6 dildos, like for real. But they don't have like any kind of
emotional.
Wow.
Just Google it. Seriously, I don't know who's counting, but really,
Wow.
like that's crazy. But I agree with Flora about the parents. They know, yeah, they're not clueless. They're not clueless at all. He's told somebody they weren't clueless.
The bad thing about it is a lot of times people take their kids to school and expect the school to raise them. It doesn't work like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like no, they have to learn their morals and everything else from home. But if the parents lack that, then that's going to transfer over to the kids as well.
Mm-hmm.
But then the parents are going to say, "Oh no, I had no idea." How did you not know? Like I said, part of my bedroom door, the top part came completely. It swung open. And if my mom opened it up, I wasn't closing it back. Talking about, Mom, you're invading my space. No, I would have got my chest caved in.
Yeah.
No, there is no privacy up in here. I need to know what's going on.
Yeah.
And she I believe she was right. The three of us that was up in that house, we turned out okay, I believe. But at the same time, we wasn't out there. We didn't shoot up no hospitals or schools or nothing crazy. So we were just fine. So I mean, privacy or invading a kid's space, that didn't exist. But now you have parents that want to be their kid's friend, and that I don't think that works for every. I don't think that's
I don't think it should be a thing anyway. Like, even my mom at this age, I have that utmost respect for her as my mother.
Thank you.
And there's nothing that my mom can't, say, and I ain't doing it. But I still have that feel like, you know what, she might just go ahead and hit me.
I don't say nothing to even sound remotely close to a curse word around my mom. No, it don't work like that. Don't raise my voice, not standing up when I'm talking to her, barely even that. So I mean, it's just that's just a respect thing from me. That's what I choose to do. I'm not saying that's what everybody else.
No,
but you know what? But you know what's difficult is that these kids, these are our kids. These are the generation that raised them are us, are our people, are our generation from Gen X to millennials to Gen Z. It's us. We're the ones who raise these kids, and we're raised from the baby boomers and beyond that raised us, and we thought we know better. Like, we're modern. We're we need to know. I think the age of too much information is great, but too much information is also had a big influence in what's happening today.
You can never have too much information on your child. I don't think.
They're getting too much information at a too much early age. Does that make sense?
And then at the same time, you got kids that are kids and they have to make grown-up decisions, which is wrong on that side too, to where they have to make an adult decision because the adult can't.
Exactly.
And that's a cause for error right
Yeah.
there. It's going to
18, 7, say, for example, 17 years old today is not the same when we were 17 years old.
Not
Right?
at all. Not
I think
at
we
all.
not to say not I'm not generalizing everybody and everybody's case is different, but the stuff that we're thinking about at 17 is not the same stuff we're talking about when we're 17 years old. California, big example. We did drills. We had fire drills and earthquake drills.
Yeah.
Today, what kind of drills are they doing?
Mass shooter drills.
Active shooter drills. So I want to show you this because now we're walking into this now, and I'll give you a little bit of stats about our gun stats here in America. But I want to really have you guys watch this video, and maybe you can take away from this. Hold on. All right. Can you see that?
Yeah.
All right. Second.
All right, so good morning. Welcome to today's team building event. Today, we're going to be learning what to do in the event of an active shooter. We're going to bring in a special guest. She's actually an expert on this, and she's going to be leading our team building event. This is Kaylee.
If there was an active shooter, you would all be dead. When you talk out loud, the shooter can tell where you are and where you're hiding. Sometimes we play the game who can stay quietest the longest, so we all remember. You can try and protect your friends by pushing the tables and chairs against the doors. You also have to put a piece of paper over the door window so they can't see in. And you can't cry. It gives away your position and your hiding spot. And if you're in the bathrooms, you have to stand on the toilet seat and crunch down so they can't see your feet and they can't see your head, so they don't know that you're in there. That's crazy. Try to listen for things that could help the police. For example, if you hear a lot of bangs like bang, 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 the shooter might be down the hall. Or if you hear louder ones like bang, 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 he could be right outside your door. If the shooter comes in the room, screaming won't do anything. You have to try and fight back. If you can't escape, we get taught the emergency window escape plan, where you have to break a window, put clothes over the frame, and climb through. Our teacher used to sing a song to make it easy to remember. Lockdown, let's all hide. Lock the doors and stay inside. Crouch on down, don't make a sound, and don't cry or you'll be found.
It's got to come to that. And then we never had to hear anything, had those type of anxieties as kids. I never remember having any of those, things. And it's like now, like, how do you even giving them gun training and stuff like that? Well, you're giving the same kids gun training that's going to go and kill the other kids anyway. So it's got to be like more than that.
What's there's someone made a point. These young men, 18, 19, 20, these shooters grew up doing these drills.
Yeah. That's what. Yeah.
Wow.
They grew up doing these drills. They know the drills.
Yep.
I think it was.
I feel like he didn't go to his high school probably because those kids are bigger and about they probably could have gotten a lot more done than the kids, that were like 10 years old, which is still just disgusting.
Which is still being a predator.
Yeah.
So they know. So, I mean, all we're asking, guys, and that hit us when I watched that video and I shared that with Carla, that hit me like a ton of bricks. And for us adults, because yes, we know that our kids are doing the drills, But when you're faced at the moment and hear it from a young 10, 12 years old kid, it changes the whole dynamics. Like, what are we doing as a society?
Yeah.
What are we
Completely
creating?
desensitized.
What have we created for them that they have an anxiety about getting shot?
Yeah, and can you imagine there were what 10, 20 students in the class, 19 died. The one that did not die, she's still like, I mean, she covered herself in blood just to and played dead, and didn't get shot. But like, wow, like she's smart, yes, but then at the same time, that girl's gonna have a whole life of just PTSD and all kinds of stuff going.
I had one of my musical mentors, rest his soul. He actually told us that he did the exact same thing in Vietnam. Now, what they're doing in Vietnam, a kid has to do in the United States at a school where they're supposed to learn. That's wrong on so many levels. Man.
I mean, it's not just one thing. And Unique says, should we stop? No, obviously, right now we can't because they need to be prepared.
Yeah.
What we're talking about is not going to be overnight, but they can take certain steps to alleviate the problem.
Now, when we were growing up, not to cut you off, but when we were growing up, we didn't have to have armed guards and metal detectors at schools and stuff like that. No. But now that we know that we need this, the United States can afford it. Because if you can send $40 billion or whatever type of money you send into other countries, you can save your kids right here by,
fortifying.
Getting the security guards and everything. And then it's going to create jobs as well.
Yeah. You send money to Ukraine, but you can't send money to.
I totally agree that funding for all schools, not some schools, all schools
exactly
should be. It's like, for example, when September 11 happened, what happened? We fortified our gates even more, and it was harder to come into the gates. I remember as a young kid, as a young Navy kid, coming in and like they just pass you. Hey, everybody in the car, as long as everyone has an ID, the whole van, the whole car went in.
They could see you all the way to the gate.
Yep. I remember going to TJ as a young 20-year-old, or going over and say, "Are you American?" Yes, I'm American, and let me in. Can't do that now. No. Right. I remember going to the airport, walking to security. I don't have to take off my shoes. I don't have to take off my belt. It is like boop, boop, walk you right in.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, 9/11 changed a lot, but I tell you who was traveling on, I was traveling that next week because I knew that it was even safer than ever.
Exactly.
A lot of people were scared to travel after that, but I was like the main one. I was like, come on, Ariel, let's go.
Yeah.
Because I worked for US Airways at the time, so. Yeah.
Security has to change, obviously. Hopefully it's not forever. But that's not the only thing. Let's really if someone took a bat and start bashing your car, what's your first thing in mind you're going to do? You're going to take away the bat.
I'd take away their ability to swing a bat because I'm aiming for center mass and shoulder.
Yeah. But we're not banning bats.
Right.
We're just trying to take away what's obviously hurting.
I mean, it'll cut down if they start doing background checks and make it harder to get guns.
Yeah.
But there's always some way of doing it, but it'll be a lot harder.
It is. It is. But
you got to make it a lot harder. Because like the street guns and stuff like that serial numbers are probably scratched off or whatever.
Yeah, and they talk about ghost guns too.
Ghost guns.
Like a ban on 3D. Ghost guns.
Yeah, they make it a 3Ds now.
At least arm the teachers with some rubber bullet guns or something. I mean, I don't know.
It's hard to say. Even one thing that we talked about too, where you have a lot of veterans that need work. And is it possible for them to be employed as far as security for schools, bearing mental evaluations that everybody else would have to get as well. Because people, whether they're in the military, out of the military, or what, are dealing with stuff like this. I mean, that's PTSD that they might have suppressed as well.
Yeah.
So background checks for employees and stuff like that too, that are going to be having weapons. But to get weapons,
evaluations too,
all of that.
Because I think some of these teachers,
teachers are stressed and underpaid.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous how bad teachers are paid.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Unless you're a veteran, retired veteran, and you had training over the years, I'm okay with some of the school officials to have weapons if they are in that point where they're military trained or they're an officer trained, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But not Miss Karen, you know what I'm saying, who've been teaching for 30 years, right?
Right.
All she knows about military is of kids she graduated, and you know what I'm saying? So no, not everybody. It's the same thing. I do agree that some officials could be but not in the classroom. Could you imagine having a sidearm in the classroom?
Yeah,
with a bunch of 5 or 6 years old. Come on.
And kids are curious. So you imagine if the teacher got her back to them or something like that, and
slip up.
No.
Yeah, it's a touchy situation.
Yeah, I don't think it should be in the classroom either.
We're not the professionals to try to figure it out, but they got professionals out there that need to figure this shit out, because it's ridiculous to have 27 school shootings this year. No, one got the most attention so far.
Yeah.
But you can't. I mean, there's gonna be more, sadly.
Yes, there will be.
There's gonna be more.
Yeah,
so.
there is. Yeah, I mean, there's so many things you can do to start the process of eliminating guns, having it harder to get for some people. Citizens, if you like guns, you already have a gun. Right? There's no need for more guns for some people, right? But yeah, number one, did you know that the National Registry for Guns is paper? There is no computer data for nationally for all registered guns owners. It's not. It's paper.
So they can't even really tell if somebody's selling guns at trade shows where they don't even do background checks.
It's fucking the Dewey Decimal System and shit of looking through library shit. Because they lobbied a law to say that all registry nationally should not be on a computer database. It's saying it infringes on their rights of Second Amendment of having a.
Well, you know what's crazy too is I found it very crazy that the police were the way they behaved at the school shooting.
Yeah.
As well, and how they kept. I mean, that they could have saved those kids' lives.
They did. They should have.
Yeah, they could have.
I believe the facts was that there was a 911 call even before he entered the building, or when he entered the building. There were 911 calls because some kids got phones. Like, if there's 20 kids, if there's 40 kids in there, I bet you about at least 15 have phones.
Yep.
They're calling 911. And what happened was the 911 or whatever, not relaying the message to the sheriffs, whatever. But the cops were on site within a few minutes. It's a small ass town, very small town. Right. I come from a city, San Diego alone, a county is 1.2 million. We're I think over 3 or 4 million, just our county. But anyways, it took them. They were there on site for 40 minutes. They had automatic weapons. They had guns. They had everything, bulletproof. They were outside.
And they're trying to stop the parents from getting into school. Like,
do you know who eventually went in?
The Border Patrol guy.
The Border Patrol.
Yep. He went.
And you know why the Border Patrol even acted and killed the shooter? The local sheriff cops told them not to go in. They said, "Fuck you guys, we're going in."
Mm-hmm.
So kudos to the Border Patrol.
Yes.
I'm glad you were there. And they have a SWAT. 40% of that city's funding goes to police.
defund.
Well, I mean, the thing is like, okay, so what more are you gonna do? Like, if it's 40% is going to the police already, I mean, what more do you do? I know they need to be fired. Like every single one of those cops need to be fired, especially the ones that actually touch the parents. Like, no.
Yeah,
there are slamming parents on the ground, and no.
Yeah. No. What I heard, there is over 200 FBI agents right now in that city or in that town investigating what's going on. Shit's hitting the fan right now.
And they said that some of those first responders were going in and getting their own kids.
Yes.
Like
you saw the video where the police like, what are you guys doing? They're getting their own kids. And there's a story where a lady who worked 40 miles away drove all the way there. She was trying to get into the school. The sheriffs handcuffed her, put her down because she wanted to go in because they were sitting out there for 40 minutes. And somehow she persuaded one of the sheriffs to uncuff her. She ran in, got her 2 kids, and walked right out within the 40 minutes before they went inside, or whatever it was, 90 minutes.
They went in all late and wrong. Like the dude is dead already, and then you have like kids are dead, the teachers are dead. Wow.
I'm actually texting right now my brother that's actually in the comment section, Tim Atkins, and he's been in law enforcement for decades now. So I was trying to get his point of view on certain things to go along with his comment and everything like that too. So I was just trying to see if he was available.
Yeah, not all police officers are trained. There is a Navy SEAL. I forgot his name. Wilco, I think it's Wilco, and he was explaining he was explaining how the military trains, how the special forces trains, and what types of training that our officers will need in order to be effective on the streets. Did you know? Everybody, sit down. Listen real quick. Did you know it takes 1,500 hours to be a hairdresser? Guess how many hours it is to be a police? And Tim, let me know. How many hours does it take to graduate from the police academy with guns? How many hours? Anybody know? Anybody look it up?
40.
He said 40.
No, ain't long. I think it's like 2 months or 3 months. I'm not sure. 60 hours.
Word? 60 hours?
60 hours to graduate from the academy or whatever they do to get licensed to be a police officer to run the streets. What kind of training are you getting in 60 hours?
Longer than that to get AWS certified.
A hairdresser, barber is 1,500 hours in California in order to cut hair legally. It takes them 60 hours to be a licensed protector of the law. So it takes less hours to drive school. So what kind of training are these police officers getting, except for obviously some of the military like Marines and Army and Air Force who join after security forces training?
So I'm wondering, is that just the basic training for police, or is that like the specialized training, like someone that might be on a CERT team or something like that?
No, in order to license to carry a gun and protect the CERT, to be a police officer, 60 hours.
Wow.
So what reform do we need? That's part of it. You need a longer training for the officers and quarterly, I don't care, whatever days of training with, how to what do you call that? Stop a lady with a knife. Did you hear about that?
You need conflict resolution as well.
Conflict resolution. Why would you shoot someone up like it was like they had a gun with someone with a knife?
But it also goes back to where you also have it to where there should be some type of mental health professional on a lot of those calls too, because somebody could be having a mental health crisis, and they don't really deserve bullets. They either need their medication or somebody to talk to, like at least a 72-hour hold or something like that too. But I think, to be honest with you, in situations like that, there's, like I said, there's layers to it. Certain things have to be conveyed to the 911 operator if they're doing their job properly. Some things had to be conveyed or filtered out by them, because you might be somebody on there that calling in and it's not an emergency or anything like that too, taking up resources. So it's so many different levels to it. It's going to be hard to weed out the situations.
Yeah, sorry, I said 60 hours, but actually it's like some 6 weeks, some 6 to 9 months. Yeah, so months. But 1,500 hours just to be a hairdresser. You're talking about a year just to cut hair. So, yeah, training, education, more training. I think the border patrols are more trained and they get a lot of training, but they're also the Department of Defense, right? Oh no, they're like the Coast Guard. What do you call them? Homeland Security. Sorry,
Yeah,
they're Homeland Security. They're almost pretty much like a military, which they are. They're federal. So here's my question to everybody else. Do you think a lot of our city and state police officers should be federal?
You mean federal as far as
Federally funded? So meaning they will get federal money for all these training. And of course, what they're going to have happen is, like, when we go through the government to become a civilian or have classified information, extensive background checks.
Yeah, but that also opens up the things to where we have issues when we had people that were upset about a verdict and rioting. That also, if they're federally funded, that was stopping them from bringing in the National Guard and doing other things as well, because that's national too.
Yeah, I got you.
Well,
yeah.
So
anyways,
where do we go?
Yeah, I mean, that's one aspect of the violence of police, and also, helping with active shooter, and more training, longer training, more training, more funding for that kind of training, not funding for. Yeah, I mean, when we say funding, we're talking about training.
I mean, we're talking about a lot of training and stuff like that, but I mean, we still need to, because that's going to be a long time coming.
Yeah,
to get all those people trained, ongoing training, changing those laws and stuff like that. For now, they need to get some bulletproof desk or whatever they need to do. They need to protect the children.
I think, I think we're going to agree. You're going to up the security for all public schools, or all schools, right? That's the first thing. That's the Band-Aid. That's the Band-Aid that's going to help, right? Mm-hmm. And that will also create jobs. Mm-hmm. Get it, if you have to, get it federally funded. Because if we're sending fucking millions and billions of dollars worldwide, we can fund security for our schools. That's number one. That's a Band-Aid. Number two, you need more training for officers. Mm-hmm. Allocate federal funded training for police officers, so that the small towns have small budgets. I get that. So you get some federal funding, get some money for that. You can do that. And then number three, reformat and have a nationwide laws for obtaining your license for weapons. And then, of course, momentarily ban assault, or what could be considered an assault weapon, and ban bunk stocks. The bunk stocks, they can make the AR-15 rifle into an automatic.
I don't understand why people even need an automatic. I don't understand why people need AR rifles.
Son, if you need an AR-15 to go hunting, you are a bad hunter.
Right, because first of all, that deer is going to be shot the hell up.
It ain't for food.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you have an AR, it's for something else. I mean, we live out in the middle of nowhere, but, at the end of the day, I feel safe out here. I might come across a buzzard.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Okay, we do all that, right?
Right.
We do security for the schools, but now they're going to move into other areas now. Now they're going to run to the movie theaters. Now they're going to go to their arenas.
Well, they already went to the movie theaters and the malls and stuff like that.
Yeah, the malls and the churches and all that.
To my understanding, all of these people that did these shootings, like the theater shooting, the church shooting, and all, everybody already knew something about them. They already had a background. Can we hold those people accountable? Not for that. They didn't pull the trigger. But you see something, say something, because I tell you what, if somebody calls me and says some stuff like, well, I'm about to do this now. Do what? We about to report you.
Or they do some more filtering on social media too, because a lot of these guys have posts, but at the same time, if you say anything about a federal official or elected official online, you're in trouble.
You're flagged. You're red flagged. You are red flagged.
So you know how many times I've been flagged for calling somebody a dummy?
It'll be on Facebook, be on Facebook jail. Yes, it's just come on, man.
They pick what they want to pick, or just if they can filter through like music and stuff like that, you can. Somebody saying something about guns, or somebody posting guns like constantly all the time, and that's obsessed with guns, and even going in their inboxes and stuff like that.
So now I got a question on a different path. Since Tim is, like I said, been in law enforcement for decades now, what resources are out there for law enforcement that actually see mass casualty events and stuff like that too? How is that? How are they able to be, I guess, impartial when they're dealing with the same type of trauma that you don't see on the news that the regular person doesn't see? How are they able to decompress and get that completely out of their system? Because I'm sure that a lot of those officers that see different traumas and stuff like that too, they have families
daily
kids to go back to. So how do they deal with it? I know there's certain counselors and stuff like that they can talk to, but is it like a mandatory thing that they have to do to get that off of them? Because I'm sure they're affected the same way too, because there's them.
And don't get us wrong, guys. We're not talking about every officer. We're talking not specific, not a specific department. Every department is different. But what we're saying is, that is stuff that we can do federally, nationwide, statewide, citywide, where we're trying to get the training for officers to get the training that they need. They probably some departments are great at training, and some are not. You know what I'm saying? What's it called? Uvalde, Texas, wherever Texas, the place is called. Uvalde. It's a small town. It's not going to be like Austin or Dallas or San Antonio. The training and the funding they get. But if 40% of their funding is going to them, you see the pictures of them in SWAT. Look, I have police officer friends. I have police officer cousins and family members, and but some of these departments are just not up to par, or not ready, or especially like in LA, there's so many violence happening in there. Chicago, same thing. I don't know. It's not one thing, but we got to do something. Stop. Have the thoughts and prayers, but we need to do a society and speak up.
You're gonna have certain kids that's gonna feel like, well, I'm gonna have to take a gun myself to school too, at certain ages. And so that's gonna be a whole nother problem, because they're not gonna feel safe. These kids don't feel safe in school now.
Yes, do sign me up. If there is a job openings to secure the schools, I'm there. Let me know. I will drop everything in order for this temporary fix to do. Whether it be 5 years, 10 years, let's fortify our school. At least that we know that in our hearts, our kids are taken care of, right? So I agree. Let's move steps to secure our schools, right?
We don't have 10-year-old, like my 10-year-old nieces, and
yes,
I just cannot imagine
that's the last thing I want to hear.
And a lot of us here are talking because we don't have kids anymore in school, or don't have kids. But for those, we have family and friends who do have kids and they're at school age. Come on, I have nieces and nephews.
Right.
I don't want that to happening. I don't want them to be a regular thing for the next 10 years. They're still doing these active shooter drills forever. So training, and change the laws. Make it harder for different types of weapons to be just handed over.
Yeah, they haven't addressed it. They haven't addressed it. They'll talk about it for a minute, like you see that little cycle. They'll talk about it. Everybody's giving their condolences and all this other kind of stuff, and then you're just back at it again with another one once that's over.
Yeah, and Tim, same thing. And that's why the Border Patrol. I have friends in Border Patrol right here in San Diego. It's very difficult to become Border Patrol because of the influence in the past 20, 30 years of corrupt individuals, with the cartels and blah, blah, blah. It's very difficult to be a Border Patrol. They have to go through a lie detector test, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, you have to be more stringent. I know some departments are they're very they can't get enough officers. They don't have enough. So they're kind of almost accepting almost everybody, in some departments. So now you have to be more strict. But with that said, fund the police where, give them every avenue for PTSD, for counseling, for training, blah, blah, blah,
but these
benefits and all
that particular town are funded.
Yeah, 40%.
It's where the funds are going. So what are we funding the police for? Whatever we're funding them for, it has to go into. Shouldn't the people have a right to what is it going for? It's not going for you to have a nice souped up car or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's for vest and equipment and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so it needs to go more into like different things. Sensitivity training too, because some of those officers, I don't know, like if you're an officer, some people say, oh, well, he was an officer for 21 years or whatever. Well, I mean, people change over 21 years. I know I have. So, I mean, they have to be constantly evaluated. They should be constantly evaluated as well.
Yeah.
But I personally don't think there's counseling for fear itself. You think about it. I mean, you can sit back and train, whether you're doing physical training or you're doing computer-based training or anything like that for active shooter or anything like that too. But when that moment comes, are they really able to do that? Because you can simulate all you want, but when the rubber hits, like I said, when the rubber hits the road, are you going to do what you need to do? And you can't. A lot of times, people are paralyzed by fear, which goes back to what Tim was saying about the training and the individual. Hopefully, you don't want to. Well, you really don't want to use that training anyway. Yeah. But if it comes to the point to where you have to use that training, are they going to freeze up? And you can't really judge that. Everybody's an individual.
Yeah.
So it's tough, but it between freezing up and not doing what you're supposed to do because you want to get your own kids out of that situation is not right. I mean, that should have been. That shouldn't even been in the equation. Getting your own kids out and leaving other kids in there. No.
I think. This is not my own thinking. I'm just paraphrasing a radio host. They were sitting down with police officers. And Tim, no disrespect to you and the whole of the police department, but look, if you're a bad radio host, D3, I'm going to tell you, you're a bad radio host. I'm going to tell you publicly, if you did something bad, if you did something viciously, I'm going to tell you. You're a bad radio host. If you're a bad police officer or politician, say it. The police officers in every department that has challenges got to step up. Stop hiding behind this blue line. If you're a bad officer, tell them they're a bad officers because there are. You're playing life or death with the community that you are protecting. If you, as the police officer union or whatever, step up and say they're a bad police officer, they murdered, then the community will rally against you. We understand. But if you don't say shit, if you don't, and you hide behind the blue line, then we're going to have this forever and ever, where we have animosity against the police departments, certain police departments. The police departments has to step up when you have bad things happen. Yeah. That's it. Is it one all be all? No, it's not, but it's a step up. Call them out. There's a lot of departments out there that just have bad people working. They should not be working for their department.
Yeah.
Stop hiding behind them and step up.
Yeah, I feel you on that. But I think that goes back to where you have to decide on whether that person needs to be in law enforcement or not. But it also, that can apply to other professions as well, But I think there has to be, I guess, better vetting, so to say, when and like what Tim was saying about good officers, that happened. I think that happened in New York with one of the officers that actually stopped another officer from choking out one of the suspect in something. So and then she ended up getting losing her pension and everything like that too. So it's tough, man. It's tough, but at the same time, what do you do? How do you prevent these shootings? How do you prevent certain officers from being complacent and not doing what they're supposed to do? How do you stop parents from being complacent and not doing what they're supposed to do? And automatically thinking that school is supposed to raise their child. No, that's not how it works.
It's a combination of all of those factors and all the things that we're trying to fix. It's not just one fix. It can't be.
Right.
But it's a domino effect, and in the cultural shift of recognizing our faults.
Right.
If more guns makes us safe, United States should be the safest place in the fucking world.
Should be. But I thought that all the good guys that had guns were justified in what they do.
Yeah.
No, not only good people have guns. It don't work like that.
Yeah.
Because for every one good person with it, there's probably 4 or 5 more that have them with no serial number on them whatsoever.
Yeah.
So what do you do? I mean, I just pray that everybody stays vigilant. Me personally, I have trust issues when it comes to crowded places. That's just me, and some of my inner circle we're like that as well. And I can actually speak for Tim. There was plenty of times where we were actually in Louisiana. We would go party or something like that. The first thing he would do was actually look at the exits. Okay, that's an exit. That's an exit. Okay, I'm accounting for everybody that I came in there with. I have to know where everybody that I came into a place with. I have to physically see them. Somebody goes to the restroom. Okay, I'm not too far from that.
Yeah.
That's just me. So it hurts me to my heart when I see different shows and stuff like that about people turning up missing, or somebody leaves and somebody just lets them leave after a night of drinking or something like that. And you're like, so that's your friend? You just gonna let them leave by themselves? It don't work like that. If I came here with you, I'm leaving with you.
Yep.
And if something goes down, we both gonna either get beat down together, or we're gonna beat the brakes off of somebody and laugh about it later. It's one of the two. But if I'm with you, I'm with you.
Yeah.
So I just can't sit back and morally let somebody get hurt or whatever without intervening. So I mean, maybe that's reckless. It is what it is, but I just can't sit back and just think about myself when somebody else is hurting or whatever. So I have to take care of me and make sure that my mental capacity is where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So I can help somebody else. I just can't sit back and watch things happen and film it and do whatever, trying to go viral and stuff like that too. So it is individualized how people feel, whether they're paralyzed by fear or what. But I just personally don't understand how people can just sit back and let things happen and go about their merry way, or just see somebody doing something, a kid or something like that doing something, and then watch it snowball to where, I didn't know that they were talking about hurting people. He did choke a puppy when he was little, but I didn't think it was a problem. Come on, man. Really?
Carla, do you remember there was a period of time where in Yokota we had some suicides?
Oh, yeah.
And we had a close coworker who either killed himself or he just got sick. He had diabetes.
Oh yeah,
Marco. So there was a period of time in Dakota, and it started, I think, the past 20 years, where we had a rash of suicides for all.
I did the SART training over there. I was
Yeah,
a suicide advocate over there.
yeah, all different reasons. So I'm gonna tell you guys something also, and it's hard to say this too. It's very difficult to be your brother's keeper all the fucking time.
Yeah.
People are going to do what they do, but we try our best to be in parts of people's lives.
Right.
We get busy in our careers, in our own families, that sometimes we brush off other people's challenges, right? I know for a fact, if I reached out to Carla and had something, personal, like just to talk, she probably will answer the phone and she'll talk to me. But sometimes our circle is so big. Maybe we're a director or manager and we have 30 people under you. It takes a toll when you have to be the brother or the uncle or the father or sister for everybody.
And you're not taking care of yourself.
So things are going to happen. And I'm not making an excuse for the grandma and the mom of the shooter.
Mm-hmm.
But that close in your household, you hold accountable also. But in the same respect, every situation is a little bit different. Don't beat yourself about it. Sometimes you just had to live your life, and a guy or girl or somebody will do what they got to do. Like for Marco, we didn't know. Did we know the signs? We didn't know that he was hurting. We didn't know that he wasn't taking his insulin. We didn't know.
But at the same time, Dr. Croft was his supervisor.
Yeah.
You remember? Yeah.
Yes.
So, that wasn't a good thing, because I used to work for Dr. Croft.
I understand.
Yeah. I'll leave it that alone.
Yeah. So, yes, it's going to happen. No matter what we do, say we fix everything, it's going to happen. If someone wants to kill themselves, if someone wants to go and take a truck and barrel through a mall, it's going to happen. But we can take all the steps to make sure that it doesn't happen.
Yeah, because if you report that, then somebody's they got to take action by law. If somebody reports that, they're mandated by law to take action. But
Tim, I'm glad you're here, and I know you're, especially was it Louisiana, and you're a police officer out there. So I know there's a lot of list of things that you're trying to do good. You see things, the thin blue line. The same thing with my office in the military. There's things that but man, we got to speak up. We all have to do something in all our departments, in all our cities, in all our states. There's no longer thoughts and prayers. We have to act. We have to do something.
Yeah, and some people are tired of, and I am tired of, the thoughts and prayers and condolences. Yeah, we can give our condolences, but we got to stop giving. We have to do something, besides condolences and all that stuff right now. You got to give it to.
I'm gonna take it farther. I'm tired of the thoughts and prayers and marching. I'm sick
Definitely
of it.
marching.
I'm so sick of it.
Especially for Black people. I'm tired of marching. Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah, for anybody. For all these just things that are going on in the world, like marching right now, nah.
Yeah. We need to get people in office that have our interests at heart.
Yeah.
That has everybody's interests at heart.
So you man.
Executive decision. Fucking do it right now. Temporary, whatever you got to do. Temporary, so we can figure out what we can do and make laws that's going to help. Are they going to be perfect? They're not going to be perfect. We understand that. They're going to be hiccups. I get that.
Right. But you got to shut that shit down. Like right now, I feel like schools right now, they don't have, ain't nobody safe to go to school right now. I just feel like shut that shit down and figure out what y'all going to do in these next few months.
Do something.
Yeah. And reboot.
Yeah, because they're gonna start school again in August and September.
Yeah, there's gonna be
what's going to change? Yeah, what's going to change in 2 months? Something needs to be done. I like this one thing that one of the older heads said to me is, "Yeah, we can pray. All of us pray at the same time. One of us is going to get through, but at the same time, if we don't feel that we got through, then we need to go get our hands dirty and do what we need to do as far as making things change.
Yeah.
Worry about we can all, like I said, we all can pray.
It's been
one of us is gonna get through, and it's the prayer is gonna get through.
Yeah.
But if you don't feel your prayer got through, then maybe you need to act upon what you were praying for. Be that change yourself.
And it's been a whole week, and this one feels so heavy. You know what I mean? I mean, all of them were sad, but I mean, this is just so heavy.
This one's heavy to me because to me, there's no logic behind it. This dude is 18, so he wasn't in the elementary school.
And then he said they were saying that he was bullied by who? You weren't bullied by 10-year-olds.
So you mean to tell me that you were so upset at something to where you would hurt others who had absolutely nothing to do with it? That's a special type of evil.
It is, and I would agree, and I do that has to be mentally. You have to be mentally ill to do that too.
Yeah, mentally ill to grab an assault rifle.
Yeah, you're evil and you're mentally ill for that.
Whether it be a grocery store, a church. Right. I mean, that's not normal,
especially a church.
And then he talking about they were saying that he was poor. You weren't poor enough to buy. I mean, how much is an AR? How much is a rifle?
It's more than groceries.
Right.
Come on, man.
And also it's more than you can buy a wardrobe probably for that. So, but he said when he was 18, the first thing you want to buy, you were so excited about when you were 18 to buy a rifle or gun. That's, I don't know, that to me,
because he had plans. By him buying that gun, that was him germinating that seed, and that seed actually grew into something evil. That's exactly what it is.
98% of the mass shooters are young male.
Yeah.
Are you saying that only young males have challenges? So they're saying you think no females. Why is there no female mass shooters?
Oh, we're just smarter than y'all.
Oh shit! I'm sorry, I'm not trying to laugh, but
not with some of the dudes you pick. Hey, Mark Juno, damage.
All right. Well, guys, ladies and gentlemen, Tim, Unique, Every Floor, dude, thanks so much for chiming in. There's so much we could talk about an hour, hours about this, and there's not one solution. Mama Barbara, not one solution to this, but we have to do something. Take a stand. Let's vote. Hey, I will sign me up. If there's need security for public schools, I'll do it. I know it's going to be a temporary thing, whether it be 5, 10, 20 years. Let's do something, at least protect our kids, and then figure everything else out. But we got to do something. Stop playing around, and demand your senators, demand your mayors and your congressmen to do something. Don't let up.
Right.
Let's do something.
And also, you guys, if there's topics that you want to talk about and topics, things in the news, shoot us an email or, text message or messages or something like that. We're all open to different ideas, current events to talk about. This week has, just really laid heavy on our hearts. So.
Oh yeah. We were talking about this a couple of days, and we want to make sure we talked about it because it's so it's never timely, but it was timely for this one, so we want to talk about that. So I know we went a little over, and I don't want to leave it on a heavy note. So let's go into one of my favorite pod decks. It's called Deal Breaker. Stand by.
This episode is powered by Pod Decks. Pod decks are unique interview questions and episode starting prompts in the palm of your hand. So whether you're a new podcaster or existing broadcaster looking to grow your audience and have more meaningful conversations, you're going to want to check out Pod decks. Now, if you want to get 10% off your order right now, you can go to poddecks.com and type in coupon code. What's the code? Yes, that's the code. Check out poddecks.com. Take your podcast to the next level.
All right, today's pod decks deal breakers. Okay, what's a deal breaker for you? You met a guy or a girl who's super political. A deal breaker.
Yeah, it kind of is for me because I don't want to. I don't want to talk about this stuff all the time. There's some people that go on political rants constantly, and it's a turn off for me. So no.
Yep.
That's still breaker.
Yep.
I'm all for politics, but not super political. No, I'm done, son.
Yeah. Constantly, like some people eat, sleep, and breathe it. I'm just like, no.
Yeah, they're over politicizing the conversation. No,
yes,
man.
yes, sir.
I'm good.
Yeah. Time and place. All right. Deal breaker: smokes or does drugs.
Yep.
And you don't.
Yep.
You said what now?
Smokes or does drugs and you don't. Is that a deal breaker?
Yeah, I mean,
Can you imagine if you're on a date and everything's going good and then you just see that person go to the bathroom and then come back and they nodding off?
yeah, like starting to lean and stuff like that and slob. No.
They done hit some hair on in the bathroom. Hair on in the bathroom.
No.
Oh, they're super jacked up. Ooh, what's going on? Yeah, man.
Yeah. You like, bro.
No.
Check, please.
Right. Yeah. Deal breaker. Okay, this might be a little touchy issue. They are a sloppy drunk.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Mm.
Can you imagine? I mean, I personally have seen when I was single. I actually seen women that you like. Oh man, she's attractive, but then she get outside and she's throwing up and
sloppy drunks.
One heel on, one in the hand. You like, nah, I'm good.
Nah. Lash them fell off.
Yeah. She look like a look like a butterfly is right in her forehead. You like, nah, bro. Nah.
So what are you drinking, Floyd? What are you drinking? Grape juice?
Jack, Black Label.
Oh, okay, you fancy, huh?
My man.
And I had a shot just a while ago. Fireball. I don't know if you're watching, but
make your breath fresh.
There you go.
Woo! It's very sending me. Yeah, look, we've had our moments when we were younger where we're fucked up. There are times when my name is Floyd, but when I get fucked up, my name is Frank. But I'm a good drunk. You don't want to see Frank.
Floyd drunk, like
he'd be like, Carla, what's going? I'm very touchy feely kind of guy. Boys are like, hey, what's going on? Yeah, no.
I've never seen.
Quick question, Tim, know what I'm talking about? Have you seen Long Kiss Goodnight with Samuel Jackson?
Yeah.
When he said with women on the East Coast, my name is Frank.
Yeah.
Women on the West Coast, my name is Ernest. Because I'm Frank and Ernest. Like,
ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Women, I'm Frank and Ernest.
Yeah.
I'm like that.
I've only seen him drunk one time, and that was it.
Oh, all right. Deal breaker. Selfish people.
Oh yeah, that's a deal breaker.
Yeah, you imagine going on a date with somebody and they dress better than their kids.
Yeah,
not good.
Deal breaker. Lack of ambition.
Definitely.
There's a few people I know. It's hard.
But you know what? It's
very hard.
Lack of ambition. What does that mean, though? What does that look like? Because some people might need a little push. You know what I'm saying?
Or might need to reinvent themselves, or might need to refocus.
Yeah. Right. So sometimes.
Do you have friends in the military where they just do their job?
Yeah, weak links. Yeah, they're weak links.
Like check in, check out. I'm done. Volunteer. And then the day they need help from finance or TMO or whatever, they're like, well, who are you? Who are you? Like, you never helped, you never volunteered, you never became, the award ceremony, you never helped. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So lack of ambition.
But then they have a problem doing their EPR and they don't have no bullets on there because they don't do anything.
Or they
got a 3 out of 5.
Yeah. Or they need their plumbing fixed and they don't know nobody at CE.
Yeah. They network. Red Horse.
All right. I might offend some people out here, guys. Deal breaker, a person with no car.
No, there's mass transit out here. No. But then at the same time, they can do Uber and everything like that too. So
not here in California. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah, they can Uber. Or
like, hey Dorsey, can I borrow your car? I gotta pick up some stuff at Home Depot.
You can't borrow no car.
Yeah, you gotta have a car.
No, it's too much concrete out there in California. I know better. No, you ain't borrowing nothing. You better get you a bicycle, 10 speed, something.
Uber, Lyft, yeah.
Mm-hmm. figure it out.
Yeah, if you're in like New York, it's different. If you're in Tokyo, it's different. No people
New
have no
York,
car.
DC. I mean,
Yeah.
where we're at, you have to have a car.
Mm-hmm.
Here you go. All right, deal breaker talks trash about their ex.
Emotional, damn it.
If you go too far, if you keep going in, if that's all it is, and you're just talking about your ex and talking about your ex, that don't have nothing to do with me.
Yeah, but then at the same time, why are you talking bad about your ex? Because you're the one that decided to make them your mainstay in the first place. Okay. So take responsibility yourself. You did something wrong.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna tell you something, man. You know, you understand when you get to a breakup, you want to talk about everybody and everyone in that situation. So I had that mistake, but I think I know better now. But if you want to get off your chest, get it off your chest. But don't every time I see you, that's all you talk about. Say. So it's not a total deal breaker, but
we do have some single people in here.
But you do bring it up. You do bring it up if they bring it up. So you don't mind me asking, how's your last relationship? Why are you single now? I mean, you can talk about that for a little bit, but, you don't keep harping on it. That gets old. Man.
Every date that you go on, or every time you see that person, they want to talk about somebody. No.
Yeah, that gets old real quick. And to Tim's point, like, bruh, yeah, you gotta have standards. You gotta bring something to the table. All right, bruh. Yeah. No, man.
That is the weakness of a lot of males and females out there. Getting with someone or marrying somebody for the wrong ass reasons.
You got to take the lust aspect out of it.
Yeah,
because you said, she's super duper fine.
You need a partner.
She has no idea who you are or what you stand for or anything like that. I mean, so what can you build on?
You need a Michelle Obama. You know what I'm saying? That's what you need. 2 more here. Deal breaker. Too many pets.
Emotional.
Too many pets, though.
I'm allergic to cats, so
1 cat then for you.
Yeah, 1 cat is too much.
Like, all right, so
dogs. I know a friend. They got like 40 dogs.
See, that's disgusting.
For what? What they? Oh, but Michael Vick can go to jail for having 40 dogs.
Know.
What you saying?
I don't know, but they got 40 dogs and they're all in the house.
No,
I'm probably exaggerating.
No, I know that house.
I feel like over. I mean, I might offend somebody here. I feel like over 2 dogs in the house is too much.
You ever smelled a box of puppies? Oh my God.
No.
Yeah,
no.
We got 2 dogs, and when they got BO, holy fuck, take them a shower.
But dog, you ever had a dog fart by you? Come on, man. That'll peel paint. Bro,
well, I know somebody, but it's not probably 40 dogs, but it was about like that. A lot of dogs.
Yeah, anything over we have Mr. He's a lot of work. So then having another dog, that's max right there. Flora loves dogs. I don't know, how many do you have, Flora?
Yeah, box of puppies stink.
They sure do.
I'm telling you.
Like we have a cat and a dog, and that's it.
That's enough.
But yeah, and they're expensive. If you take care of them, they're expensive, like insurance.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Mr. was asking the other day. He was asking for the keys to the truck.
Yeah.
He said, "Yeah, look, he's agreeing with everything right now. That Jack hitting him. Yeah, he probably."
All right, last one. Deal breaker. Snorer.
That's not a deal breaker.
You got the CPAP? Got the CPAP machine?
First of all, the CPAP's on backwards, so sis is suffering over here. Okay?
You better go to sleep before I do.
I'm not naming no names. You know who you are. I love you. You're my brother from another mother. We have the same blood, but with the CPAP, holy fuck! I shared one time a room with this motherfucker. That's not a cartoon, not a movie.
Are we talking about Eric? Wow.
I love you, man, but I'm never sleeping with you ever again.
Emotional damage.
Emotional damage.
No, not a deal breaker. I just got to get another room, man. So, woo! But no, man. I don't know. I snore, but I have a CPAP. So, Rose, hopefully I'm not like that, dude. So, all right, guys. Highway 54. Thank you guys so much for commenting.
Appreciate you.
It was a good Sunday. And next Sunday, we've got an event going on, me and Eric. So we will see you the next week after. All right. My name is DJ Kid Mango. We've got Carla in the house, D3. We'll see you guys in a few. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed the show today. Do us a favor and click on the like button or share our podcast. Thanks for listening. Till next time, we are Highway 54.